Welcome back to our third presentation for Franchise Times Prime Time. We are very happy to have you, our audience, with us for our final presentation of the day. We are very excited to have with us Cheryl Fletcher of Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Cheryl, welcome.
Well, thank you, Mary Jo. It's a pleasure to be with all of you this morning, or I should say this afternoon as well, depending on where you're at. So I'm Cheryl Fletcher. I'm the Chief Development Officer. I've been with the brand for 4 years and super excited to be with this amazing growth brand. Today, what I'd like to do is share with you a little bit about our brand, who Tropical Smoothie Cafe is, our growth story, and then focus on our strategic initiatives that we've got laid out for the next 5 years. But before we do that, I want to share a little video with you that kind of showcases some of the performance we've had from 2020. So I hope you enjoyed watching that video with our 2020 performance. A couple of numbers that I just want to call out: 99 openings last year together with our franchisees, just an amazing year. It was also a record year for us on the franchise agreement side. We signed 254 agreements. Couldn't be prouder of what that team accomplished with and 70% of those were with our existing franchisees. So also a key metric, for us was all the donations we had. We have $1.6 million worth of smoothies donated by our franchisees to the medical workers and first responders, really giving back to the community. Well, Tropical Smoothie Cafe was born on a beach. We were founded in 1997 in Destin, Florida, 24 years ago, serving smoothies on that beach. 2 years later, we started introducing food. And now today, we've got more than 950 franchise cafes in 44 states with more than 430 franchisees. We are very, very highly franchised business model. We only have one corporate location. We're headquartered here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we recently had new ownership with our new private equity owners in 2020 with Levine Lichman Capital Partners, LLCP. So super proud and happy to be part of that team. We've got a very strong leadership team led by Charles Watson, our CEO. He's been with the brand for 12 years. And together with all of our leaders, we've got more than 140 years of restaurant and franchise experience in the industry. Couldn't be prouder to be part of this team. The next couple of slides, what I want to do is share with you our mission and our culture. For us, this is key. Our mission is simple: inspire better by becoming the most beloved restaurant brand by sharing the fun and craveability of the tropics. Inspire better is the evolution of our mantra, eat better, feel better. It's bigger, it's broader. It's about making sure we're making that change in our communities, making that difference. And our culture is grounded by 4 core values. First one being relationships rule. And for us, this is extremely important. As I mentioned before, we're a highly franchised business model. It's making sure we stay focused on our relationships and keeping those relationships with our franchisees. Second core value is think bigger. Innovative describes us. Being innovative with our menu, with our technology, and how we do our business day in and day out. Third, all in. This is the determination, the grit that differentiates us. And I would say 2020 was definitely a year that we were all in with our franchisees and determined to succeed. And then our fourth core value is high five. This one's important to us because it's like, take a minute to celebrate. And I have to be reminded of this from time to time. Being in the development world, let's get those agreements signed. Let's get those cafes open. But we need to remind ourselves to celebrate and do a high five. And then trust is the foundation of our culture. Being transparent and open and honest, responsible, doing what we say we're going to do and following through. Unique, bringing our whole self. Service oriented, as Charles Watson says, we're in the hospitality business. We need to make sure we're serving our guests. And lastly, tenacious. And this aligns very nicely with our core value of all in. We've got that determination to succeed. Our success at Tropical Smoothie Cafe is really driven by our promise and our commitment to our franchisees. And for us, we remind ourselves of this all the time with 3 key things. Making sure that we show our franchisees that we care. They're the ones investing the dollars. They're the ones that are out there running those cafes day in and day out. We need to make sure that we're there to help our franchisees and be there when they need us. The other key thing here is communicate frequently. And it's not just about talking to our franchisees, it's listening to our franchisees. I have to remind myself of that from time to time too. So it's making sure that we listen to our franchisees. They want to be heard. We have a tropical franchise council group, and we get with different subcommittees around marketing, technology, construction, operation, and profitability. And it gives our franchisees the opportunity to make sure that they can be heard. We also do monthly webinars with our franchisees. So we want to make sure we're constantly communicating with our franchisees. And third, drive profitability. And this for us is key. The decisions we make in the business are super important. We've got to, whatever decisions we make, we've got to have the franchisees' profitability in mind. And if you do those 3 things right for your franchisees, guess what happens? They're happy. And when you have happy franchisee, guess what happens? They want to grow more with the brand. So we've got a very engaged franchise team. What differentiates our brand is that we offer both a really balanced mix of both smoothies and food. We've got multiple day parts with breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. And 60% of our sales is with smoothies and 40% is with food. So this really differentiates us, sets us apart with the other competitors. And I'm proud to say we continue to be recognized in the industry. Couple of key, awards here. Franchise 500, we're ranked #1 in the smoothie category, ranked number 14th overall. Franchise Times Fast and Serious, 5th year in a row of ranking. So really proud of that. Also Nation's Restaurant News and QSR, one of the top 10 franchise deals in 2020. Our strategic roadmap focuses around five key strategic pillars. This is our focus for the next 5 years. The first strategic pillar is brand promise. This is making sure we're driving our AUVs by increasing brand awareness and lifetime value. The second one is guest experience, making sure that we've got the guest satisfaction scores. And this is really evolving our cafes and engaging our team members to make sure we give an exceptional experience. Couple initiatives that we're working on this year in 2021 is around our time and motion study. So making sure that we've got everything in the cafes so that we can give that best experience to our guests. The third strategic pillar, market power. This one is near and dear to my heart. Market power is all about accelerating quality cafe openings. Keyword there, quality openings. It's not just about opening cafes, it's making sure that we're opening high volume cafes. And our focus is around key strategic markets where we can outposition and outpace our competition. Fourth, franchisee profit. Making sure that we're focusing on the decisions that we're making day in and day out, have our franchisees in mind. Focusing on their operating costs, leveraging the technology, resources, and tools to do that. This year, we're rolling out a back of the house system across the brand to really help us manage those labor costs with labor scheduling and the inventory food management. Our last strategic pillar is digital drive. This was new for us in 2020. This is about driving the digital sales. Last year in 2020, we were ahead of the curve, and we continue to focus on that delivery across the system. We made sure we rolled out third-party delivery, branded delivery, curbside pickup. And then the other thing is we launched a new app. And with all of that focus, we increased our digital sales from 24% to 35%. And as Michael Lappett would say, is we're going to continue to focus on these areas and invest in these areas. We need to be there anytime, anywhere, and anyhow, that convenience for our guest. The next couple of slides I want to share with you is the growth of the brand. System-wide sales in 2020 were up $690 million in sales. This was a year-over-year increase since 2016 of nearly 22%. This is pretty impressive. And for us, this growth is coming not just from unit growth, but also same-store sales. Last year, our same-store sales was positive 7.5%. That was the 9th consecutive year of positive same-store sales. Extremely proud of what we've been able to accomplish together with our franchisees. And we're continuing to outpace the industry. From 2016 to 2020, the average comp growth for Tropical Smoothie has been 5.6%. Outpacing the industry at 1.7%. And as you would expect, the same-store sales is growing our AUVs. Last year, the average unit volume was 841,000. And since 2016, year over year, that consistent growth of 6%. I'm also proud to say that the top 50% of our franchisees are averaging over $1 million. They're doing $1.07 million. So super proud of what we've been able to accomplish over the past few years. And it's not just about same-store sales, it's unit growth. And this is, I just absolutely love these charts, up and to the right, consistent year-over-year growth. Last year, we opened 99 cafes, of which 70% of those were with our existing franchisees. Over the past 5 years, we opened 520 cafes. And this year, we've already opened 61 cafes and are on track to hit 130. Many of those openings with our existing franchisees. And as you can see here, very impressive year-over-year growth of 14%. And this unit growth is fueled by our franchise agreements. An outstanding year in 2020, record year for the brand, 254 agreements signed. And did I remind you that last year was a little bit of a challenging year? Well, 70% of those agreements were with our existing franchisees. They believe in the brand, they believe in the business model, and they want to continue to grow with us. As of today, we've got more than 730 projects in our pipeline, which is fueling our growth, our unit growth. And if you kind of look at since 2016, we're going from 285 projects in the pipeline to now more than 730. That's pretty amazing. That year-over-year growth at 21%. But you know, we've got 950 cafes in 44 states. You know, the total opportunity for this brand is more than 3,700 cafes. So as we always say, we're just getting started. This map shows where we're at today with Florida being the highest penetration. That's where we started. Also strong cafe build out in Virginia, Michigan, growing in Texas. And if you look at the yellow states and the gray states, that's where we have 10 or less cafes. So certainly lots and lots of opportunity for growth. And we've got very compelling unit economics. Our franchise fee for your first cafe is $30,000. For your second, it's $20,000. Royalties are at 6%. National and local advertising is at 3% and 2% respectively. Our total investment, our average total investment for 2020 was $375,000. I just want to remind you that this also includes the expenses related to pre-opening costs around training, uniforms, and then also grand opening. And if you look at, you know, from a sales to investment ratio, we're at 2.2 to 1. So very compelling unit economics. And we have a very disciplined franchisee selection process. Our ideal franchise candidate must be first and foremost aligned with the brand and willing to follow the franchise system. You know, certainly looking for that business experience with Restaurant Preferred, and then having those solid financials, a $350,000 net worth and $120,000 in liquidity. Here you can see some of our franchisees. The one up to the left is Toya Evans. She's there with her 2 daughters. She's a franchisee in the Maryland, Virginia market. She's got 4 cafes. She just recently opened up 2 on military bases. And then down here to the bottom on the right is Marlon Sullivan with his partner Caesar. They're up in the Chicago market. They opened their first cafe last year in 2020. They now have 2 cafes open in that market and soon to have their 3rd open later this year. The other thing that I'm proud to say is that we've got a flexible building types that we can offer the system. We've got end caps with and without drive-throughs, inlines, freestanding restaurants with drive-throughs. And we can do some of the non-traditional locations with the colleges, universities, and the military bases. We've got a lot of support internally with our franchise sales team, our real estate team, and design and construction. And one of the key things on the design and construction team is we've got a design team that can help with conversions of spaces. Our average space is about 1,600 square feet, but we can certainly do some of those smaller, tighter spaces as well. But incredible team to help us with that. So just to kind of wrap up, Tropical Smoothie, what's our appeal? You know, we're a differentiated concept, healthier food for the masses. You know, we offer both a mix of food and smoothies, which really sets us apart from our competitors out there. I talked about the compelling unit economics of that 2.2 to 1 and the incredible growth that we continue to have as a brand. And not just the growth that we've had, but also the white space that's available. So lots and lots of opportunity. We've got a highly engaged franchise base and the experienced management team. So really proud to be part of this brand. Before I get to Q&A, I do want to remind everybody out there, June 21st, on Monday, is National Smoothie Day. And you can go to any Tropical Smoothie Cafe and get a smoothie for $1. But I think there's one little catch. You've got to download the app. So make sure you go out and visit our cafes and get your smoothie. So one of the questions that's come up is around what is the secret sauce at TSC? I would say that for us, it's a combination of many things. You know, the culture has been key for us and focusing on people and our franchisees. I think that's, you know, really what sets us apart in the industry, and with our leadership with Charles Watson. Franchisees, the engagement, they're happy, the unit economics is there, and they want to continue to grow. So that's what kind of keeps us fueling. I would also say that we're making sure that we're keeping those unit economics attractive, managing those investment costs, and making sure that we're growing the top line sales. There's another quick question here about, you know, kind of the territories where we're focusing on going into. And if you looked at the map, we talked about having that strong presence in Florida, Virginia, Michigan, and growing out in Texas. We've got lots of presence already in 44 states. And so for us, it's really kind of growing out in some of those existing markets with a focus also on, you know, we've got presence in Atlanta. So Atlanta is one of the key markets for us, in Georgia, and then growing out in those contiguous markets where we already have a presence. So in Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. So that kind of gives you an idea of that. And then there's another quick question here that talks about what are the key performance metrics that we look at. Certainly, you know, our same store sales, the AUV growth, and then also the sales to investment ratio. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for joining us, and I'll turn it back to Mary Jo.
Cheryl, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate your presentation and the information you provided us all today. In fact, I want to thank all of our company executives today. Another Broken Egg Cafe, You Break, I Fix, and Tropical Smoothie Cafe. You can replay their presentations on our Franchise Times website. Also, a big thank you again to our Franchise Times primetime sponsor, RSM. Please join us again for the next episode of Primetime on Thursday, August 19th. Registration will open for that next week. Our presenting companies will be Biscuit Belly, Fazoli's, and Physical Therapy and Balance Centers. And if you are a brand that wants to be part of a future episode of Primetime, please contact Kevin Peach here at Franchise Times at 888-767-3206 or at kpeach@franchisetimes.com. Thank you again for joining us and have a great day.